Tennessee Titans fans, Twitter is on fire today with discussion and debate about Derrick Henry. Why are we talking about Derrick Henry? He's not on the team anymore. Well, a guy named Paul Kuharsky, who is a reporter for the Tennessee Titans there in Nashville, he sent out a tweet today about Derrick Henry and Titans fans and how they feel about Derrick Henry. And it's got people talking. And Paul Kuharsky is a guy who has been known to ruffle some feathers in the past and get people talking. I think he did this on purpose today because this tweet is so not the type of hill that he would normally die on. I have no idea why he chose to bark up this tree today, but he did, and it's got us talking, and we're bored waiting on football to start anyway, so let's talk about it. Let me first of all show you the tweet in question from Paul Kuharsky. He said, and I quote, "If you root for Derrick Henry to the extent that you want the Ravens to win so much as a game, you are not the Titans fan you think you are. Period. Not up for debate." Clearly it is. If they are on the goal line at the end of a game and they're trailing by 4 and you want him to score, you are not the Tennessee Titans fan that you think you are. A lot to unpack right there. Not up for debate, he says. Clearly, people disagree because they've been debating it all day, and we're going to debate it here. I mean, Derrick Henry is my second favorite Titan of all time behind Steve McNair. I love Derrick Henry, and one thing you have to keep in mind, when he left a few months ago and went to Baltimore, he left in a classy way. I mean, his last game at Nashville, he stayed afterwards. He signed autographs. He took pictures. He gave a speech to the stadium. Went out with a great game against Jacksonville. And he went out in a classy way. He has not had anything bad to say. He is in Baltimore now, and he's well on his way. You compare that with the situation with A.J. Brown years ago when he was traded, which was a stupid move on our part. But A.J. had some things to say about the Titans, and he kind of came at the fans, and he came at ownership, and he came at some of the other people, and it kind of had that bad blood feel to it, so it was easy to kind of root against A.J. and the Eagles. But it's kind of a thing where I can't imagine sitting at home every Sunday watching Derrick and being like, I hope he's horrible. Because, like, he's been a class act all the way. He's made it clear how grateful he is for his time here, and now he's in Baltimore. I don't know. It's just like, I'm not going to sit here and root for the Ravens. I'm not going to be like, yeah, go Baltimore. But to say that if you see him score and you like what you see and you cheer for it and you're rooting for him to have success, you're not a Titans fan. You're not the Titans fan you think you are. Let's check out some other tweets, such as this one from Tyler Rowland of the Locked On Titans podcast. He said, "I was never a big Derrick Henry guy like a lot of you, but I will say this. Wanting Henry to do well doesn't make you less of a Titans fan. If the Ravens' result has little to no impact on the Titans, then there is no harm in wanting him to do well." And then he summed it up by saying, people are weird, and people are weird. But yeah, I think that, obviously if it's a situation where the Ravens are in a thing where, like, if they win, the Titans are eliminated from the playoffs, then yeah, you're out of your mind if you're rooting for Derrick Henry and the Ravens. But, like, I just can't imagine tuning into any old Ravens game and really even caring what happens, but especially if you say, like, oh man, I hope Derrick, has a good game today. You're telling me you're not a real Titans fan if you do that? That's just baffling to me. I can't even imagine. Let's check out some other tweets, such as this one from Canadian Titan, and I think this one probably sums up how most people feel. "I want Derrick Henry to have 2,500 rushing yards and the Ravens to go 0-17. That's probably how most people feel. Now, a history lesson for some of you who are like, why does it even matter? Titans and the Ravens are old rivals, and for those of us who have been fans for a long time, the Titans and the Ravens, there was bad blood there back in the Ray Lewis, Eddie George, Steve McNair, Jamal Lewis days, Trent Dilfer. There was bad blood back in those days. There were some battles had between these two teams. But I think what you have to understand is that a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of that rivalry because maybe they were so young or not even born yet. And the Titans were terrible for so many years there from 2011 to 2015 especially, the rivalry kind of felt like it dissipated because when one of the teams involved is horrible, it's hard to still be a rivalry. So I think a lot of people don't understand the magnitude of that rivalry and how much bad blood there is. But for those of us who've been around, yeah, we don't like the Ravens. We don't want to see the Ravens win a Super Bowl. We don't want to see the Ravens have great success. And that rivalry has heated up because there's been some battles in the playoffs now between these two teams. You see the Ravens the year they stood on the Titans logo. They kind of got into it before a game one year. So, I mean, like, there is that rivalry kind of renewed there. But for those of us that go back, like, we don't have it in us to root for the Ravens. Like, we're not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I hope the Ravens have a good year. Now, I don't have that in me either. I want Derrick to do well. I'm kind of like Canadian Titan right there. I want Derrick to have 2,500 rushing yards, and I want the Ravens to lose every game. Sorry, Baltimore fans. Let's talk about this tweet from Brian Jones, who said, for him to score against another team, I don't think it really matters. But obviously never versus the Titans. Also, I'm not going to be rooting for the Ravens just because he's there now either. Never liked the Ravens, never will. I'm a Titans fan and only a Titans fan. And I will say, I don't understand. I'm not saying you're not a real fan, but I don't understand the mentality when a player like Derrick Henry goes to another team, especially a rival that's like, oh, I'm going to cheer for them now, too. I'm going to root for them. Whoa. No. Hold on. I am a Tennessee Titans fan. That's the only team I want to see win games. You know, if the Ravens go win a game, whatever, if they go beat the Arizona Cardinals, that's fine. But ultimately, the team I'm most interested in seeing win is the Titans. There are always players on other teams that I like. I remember back in the day, some of you Titans fans are going to get mad at me for this. Back in the day, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I was a big fan of Peyton Manning. I was a big fan because I didn't know. I was a kid. I couldn't comprehend that the Colts were in our division and that was a rival. So I liked Peyton. I was a fan of Peyton. I liked watching him. I used to be a fan of Brett Favre, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick. Some of these guys. I mean, I've been fans of different players throughout the years, and I like watching them, and it's still that way today. But don't get it twisted. When I tune in to watch a game, I'm rooting for the Titans. That's the only team I care about seeing win. Now, if they get eliminated, I'll pick another team in the playoffs, like kind of a Detroit Lions thing, to root for them. But it's Titans all the way, baby. We don't play that game of like, well, now I'm going to cheer for them too because this player from our team's on their team. No, I want him to do well. I hope he breaks records and does all that, but I'm not going to sit here and root for him to win. I'm not going to go out of my way for it. Let's talk about this tweet, which is clearly from a Ravens fan who said, we're not even in their division. This is nasty work. I think this is maybe somebody who doesn't know the history of that rivalry. Also, I find it hard to believe that if you're a Ravens fan, if Ray Lewis had left the Ravens to go play linebacker for the Miami Dolphins his last year, I find it hard to believe that you would have been like, man, I hope the Dolphins win it all. Like, I find it hard to believe that. T. Wiley got feisty. He said, if you say you are a journalist and not a fan, stop telling people how to be fans and pretending that there is some golden set of ethics behind it. People can feel however they want about the situation. And I agree with that. He came in a little feisty right there. But I agree. There is no right and wrong way to be a fan. I personally don't see the point in rooting for a team that a guy just went to from our team. But listen, if Derrick Henry and the Ravens win a Super Bowl and you kind of feel happy for Derrick, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're not a real fan. Because you know what? A part of me would be happy for him too. It's kind of like when Kevin Byard went to the Eagles last year. I didn't want to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl, but if they had won one, it'd been hard not to at least feel good for the mayor of Murfreesboro, right? But I agree. I don't like the gatekeeping and telling people how to be a fan. Oh, let me show you this tweet before I get to Noah's. This guy, who's clearly a Ravens fan, said, forgot Titans even had fans, not gonna lie. You forgot? You forgot? I bet you remembered in 2019 when y'all went 14-2 and thought you were going to go to the Super Bowl, and then the 6 seed Titans came to town and smacked y'all around and told y'all to go home. Noah said, so many people are crying about this tweet, but he's absolutely correct. Derrick Henry chose to be a Raven, and the Ravens are an arch enemy. The Ravens are an old-time rival, like I said, but I don't know if Derrick Henry chose to be like, I don't expect any player to take rivalries into account when they choose where they're going to go play. I don't think that, Calvin Ridley, when he came to play for the Titans, I don't think it was because he wanted to stick it to the Jaguars. I think it's because the Titans offered him a ton of money, and he probably will be in a position to get good production with the Titans. But like Derrick Henry, I think he went where the best deal was and probably the best opportunity for him to be successful. I don't take that personally at all. But speaking of Derrick, the last tweet here is from Derrick, who tweeted at Paul and said, "Paul, go find something to do." That's good stuff. I'm always gonna like Derrick, and hard guy not to root for. Like I said, he was very classy in the way that he left, in the way that he went to Baltimore. And I wish nothing but the best for Derrick Henry. I ain't gonna sit here and root for the Ravens. I ain't gonna sit here and cheer for y'all. I ain't gonna go buy me a Ravens jersey. But we've been here before, Titans fans. Steve McNair, he became a Raven, and that was a situation where how do you not pull for Steve McNair? You got to find that weird way, like the guy who said root for him to be successful, but maybe not the team. I don't want to see the Ravens hoisting up a trophy, but I'd like to see Derrick continue to do well. Let me know your thoughts on this. Hit up the comments below. What do you think? Is it okay for a Titans fan to support Derrick Henry in Baltimore, at least to the extent that, like, you wish him well? Let me know in the comments. Tighten up. Bye.